Husband skips out on dinner, wife threatens to kill his friend. In Taichung, Taiwan, a Mr. and Mrs. Lee had an argument, and Mr. Lee stormed out and went to a friend's place to cool down. When Mr. Lee did not return home for dinner, his wife came to the conclusion that he was cheating on her and rushed to the apartment building where she knew the friend lived. She began screaming for her husband to come home and screaming insults about the friend. After neighbors called the police and 2 officers arrived at the scene to handle the noise disturbance, Mrs. Lee pulled out a box cutter. When her husband came downstairs in an attempt to calm her down, Mrs. Lee started demanding that he be done with it and beat her to death so he could go back to his floozy. Mrs. Lee also said that she'd be back to harass her husband's friend every day because her husband wasn't allowed to love anyone other than her. Police were eventually forced to physically subdue her and unarm her when paramedics arrived. Mrs. Lee was strapped to the gurney and given a sedative. A psychiatrist will later evaluate her mental condition. Jealousy is an ugly monster.
Your smartest, most insightful comments can win you $100 only at TomoNews.net.